So what's the crime? The crime of 8-foot bean poles in a Treasure Lake POA garden. Woo! That's some heavy shit. I do not want you in any way to call the Treasure Lake Property Owners Association and complain about what I'm going to talk to you about today, because don't take it out on them because I got a stupid neighbor. Okay, you want to know who the stupid neighbor is? Look up the land records. Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Appalachian Mountain Gardening. You may recall in my first video that I did that I have a problem neighbor, and that if I received another complaint from the property committee or the POA, I would be putting out these 3 bright orange Adirondack chairs. Now, initially in the video, I said I was going to remove all the fruit trees and all the shrubs and everything and attach these to my fence post. Well, here's the deal. We got a visit Monday afternoon, and it was property control. And I know she felt that big. I have 8 stakes that are 8 feet tall. They're garden stakes. They're bean poles is what they are. And I have them strapped to my fence post. Tires, tarps, trash is all okay. But heaven forbid, 8-foot bean poles are sticking out of my garden. Actually, I'll just put it this way. This weekend, I had a production farmer here at the house that came to look at my gardens. And he goes through all the Amish country, all through Pennsylvania. That's his thing, and that's what he likes to do. He was brought up doing that, and he's made friends with them over the years. So he's seen plenty of beautiful gardens. And he says to me, he says, Andrea, I need to tell you that your garden is the most beautiful garden I've seen. I've never seen such a well-organized garden with so many systems and things that you have specific for your garden and how well it looks. Everything looks so healthy. Monday morning, heaven forbid I get a compliment on my garden that goes unnoticed by the neighbors. So I get a visit from Property Control Monday for 8 bean poles, folks. And you know what? I took these garden stakes and I intentionally painted them brown, the same brown that matches the trim on our house. Back to the chairs. And then I got to thinking, now why would I want to piss off the whole entire community over 2, maybe 4 problem neighbors? Possibly 6. I know 4 for sure. So I said, well, I'm going to point them in the direction where the complainers are. So here we have it. And guess what's on the opposite side of me, 15 feet away? Yeah, their front porch. And at night, we have this really cool spotlight so that when they look outside, morning, noon, or night, this is what they get to see when they look our direction. Remember the old commercial, you asked for it, you got it, Toyota? Perfect example. I get a visit by the cops because I was playing my ding-a-ling. The neighbor called the cops and said I was harassing his son because his son was there with his girlfriend. And I was intentionally playing that song for him. It's like they don't see the ridiculousness.
What about like whenever the sun comes out and there's some bad music playing? Is any of that going on? So anything about private parts showing music like that when he's out here?
What private parts are they showing, sir?
No, I'm not saying you showing any. I'm saying about music being played specifically while he's out here, about music.
Who's
saying
he?
About private parts.
Who?
The son.
What song? What songs?
The neighbor's son.
What songs are you talking about?
Just any kind of music that would include private, showing any private parts, stuff like that.
Music that shows private parts.
Yeah, that mentions about private parts, anything like that while he's out here.
What ended up happening was the girl was never seen again, and the kid may have left the house 6 times in the last 2 years. Or is it 3 now? Who knows? It's been quiet for a while, but somebody went off their meds or was drinking or something. I really don't know. It's normal people don't call and complain about bean poles. The person that we're dealing with here obviously needs to seek some kind of help or counsel or a life coach or something, somebody that can redirect him, because I don't want your attention. I grew up with 3 sisters in 1 bathroom. There were 5 women in my house in 1 bathroom. I'm the queen of passive aggressive. I want to be left alone. You told the cops you wanted to be left alone, and then you threw this cannon in my yard the other day. Okay? So now you get orange chairs. I'm not going to take it out on the entire community because you want to be an idiot. You want to be an idiot? Be an idiot. You want to call POA all the time? Call the POA all the time. You want everybody to fight your battles for you because you're such a sissy that you can't even fight your own battles. That's what it amounts to. My wife don't give me the attention I need, so I need to go to the neighbor lady and give her a hard time. How freaking childish are you? I mean, seriously, get a life. I mean, who does this? Mentally unstable people. I can say I'm a bit crazy. I could care less. I know I am. But leave me alone. Leave my husband alone. You do not need our attention, especially my negative attention, because I could be out here at 7 a.m. blasting my stereo. And I have a little speaker over there that I listen to my music that blocks you from having to hear me talk to myself or whatever else I'm doing. And this is the way I get repaid. Because you're pissed off that I have a garden too close to your deck, I guess, too close to your house. You didn't want it that close. I should have put it here where there's no sun. It was closer to my house because you didn't want that there because you wanted everybody to think you had a bigger yard than you have. Well, because you put your house 10 feet from your border is your problem. I only had to give you 18 inches and I gave you 5.5 feet. So I gave you an extra 4 feet, okay? Gave it to you. I didn't have to. It was putting into the POA, written in. It was approved for 18 inches. But I gave you that space, and this is how you act. I mean, seriously, what the hell? I mean, even my sisters didn't act like this growing up. I mean, they didn't tattle. We didn't tattle on each other. We took care of our own problems and solved our problems. We didn't carry on problems over year after year after year after year after year. I mean, whoo. Were you picked on as a child really bad, I guess? I don't know, but leave me alone. Leave my husband alone. If you don't like the garden, put your little partition up and block us. I have a life coach of my own. She gives me all kinds of advice. It keeps my spirits good and keeps me focused on the things that I need to accomplish, the things that I need to do in my life and to take care of the people in my life. So I don't have time to be fooling around with your problems. You're interfering with me, okay? You are interfering with me. This could be one of 3 things. It could be a mental illness, it could be a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction, because I can tell you as somebody who has been around drugs their entire life, who's been around hard drugs and people smoking pot. The people that I know that smoke their weed, they are the nicest people on earth. They mind their own business. They don't go out of their way to bother anybody. Maybe you should try a little medical marijuana. You can talk with the pharmacist. They'll tell you what kind of medicine would be good for your obsessive disorder that you have with me. I mean, what on earth is this about, dude? You want my attention so bad that you called the POA over 8 bean poles. Wow. And I thought I was crazy and I had problems. Whew. Okay, folks. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more. Till next time, be blessed.